Hi again, me here, back for another lesson in the Build Your Own BPOS course as we continue to get into some higher level topics. This one may or may not be for you or your organization depending on whether you use the memberships component, but if you started playing this video, I'm assuming that you do use the memberships component and that this lesson is for you. So thanks for joining me. That is exactly what we'll be getting into in this lesson, will be the memberships and our membership renewals. Getting into a quick agenda for this, we will first chat about memberships sort of as a general concept and how to get a system membership ready, so to speak. Now that will include a bit of background and then some system-wide setups to take care of. Then we will take a look at membership setups, which is only a small piece of the puzzle, so that'll take us into membership renewals and their setups. Those are how memberships themselves are actually sold and renewed, and you'll see more about that once we get into those. And then we will finish with some demos showing how memberships can actually be sold and renewed. Now I should mention that there's even more advanced membership topics that we will unfortunately not be able to get into in this course. Things like scheduled billing and membership add-ons and some advanced reporting. But fret not, all of those things are well documented in my BPOS, should you wish to learn about them. For this lesson though, we will be sticking with the membership and renewals basics. So all that being said, let's get into it. For starters, you may be wondering, what is a member? Or maybe you're not wondering that at all, because I'm sure all of us, or at least most of us, are members of something currently, or have been at some time at least. But just for clarity, at a more universal level, membership just means that you belong to a group. Now there's usually some benefit to being part of that group, and for our purposes in hospitality and retail venues, the benefits of belonging to a membership group could be things such as being able to use certain facilities within the venue or receive special promotions. But in saying that, sometimes the benefit is as simple as just belonging and being able to say, yep, I'm a member. So with our membership component in BPOS, memberships can be created, which can then be sold to customers for just about anything that might require a membership. How we do that involves a few different pieces and various configurations that we'll get to momentarily, but the gist of it is this. We create a membership in the system, which itself doesn't have all that many things to set up. The membership is just a membership. But then we need to configure one or more membership renewals that can have a membership assigned to it. Those are what then allow for our quick and efficient membership signups and renewals. And with all the configuration options that we have for renewals, you'll see that we can cater for lots of different use cases and scenarios. Okay, so I haven't mentioned this yet, but maybe you've been able to work it out on your own, is that members and memberships relate to accounts in BPOS. In fact, all members are accounts. They have to be an account first, or to be a member. But not all accounts are members. Remember, membership has its privileges, so members are a special type of account in BPOS. Being an account, they do receive all the usual normal benefits that an account can, so pricing policies and belonging to points programs and so on, but only member accounts can join and renew memberships, which means that they'll then receive whichever benefits and perks they're entitled to within the venue for belonging to said membership. Alright, I think you get the picture there about what memberships are, so we'll head to back office, we'll run through some of the system-wide setups that are required, and then we will get into the memberships and renewals setups themselves. So for starters, your system will need the authorization for memberships. If you're not sure if you have it or not, you can check your authorizations, and this membership one will need to be checked on. It will be checked on if you do have it. If you don't have the auth for memberships and you'd like it, get in contact with your BPOS rep and they'll be able to get you sorted out with that. Then aside from the system authorization, if we head to our global settings, there are a few membership products that need to be configured. Now, you might have noticed this little membership section previously and wondered what it was for. The purpose of these membership products is that they allow us to account for the intangible aspect of selling and renewing memberships, so that when these membership products are sold, they can be tracked and reported on just like anything else that we sell in BPOS. Now, after all, we still need to account for and report on these joining fees, renewal fees, and any other membership payments that might be made. Otherwise, how will we know what's what when we look at financial reporting? This will also allow us to report on these from a product reporting perspective to be able to see the quantities and amounts that have been purchased for these or paid towards them. So to accomplish this, we do first need to make sure that some proxy products have been added to the product list that can be assigned to these. We can see that for now they're all showing as none. Click to select, and that should be the same in any new database that hasn't set these up yet. So yours should say the same unless you've skipped ahead and you've done this already. And I should say that it's okay if we don't have the products created in this system yet. We can do that before we come here to global settings, but we can actually do it right from here without going back out to the product list. If I just click one of these buttons, we'll have our pop-up here for the product list. And from here, we can select the product if we do already have them created, but if we don't, we can do that now too. We'll just click Add New Product. As always is the case when adding new products, we'll need to select one from the system to copy. Now, since these are just proxy products, it doesn't really matter what we copy to get started, but one recommendation is to select a system product, something like the handling fee product that should have been created with the new database. Of course, feel free to create a separate product group if you like, but I'm just going to put mine, select that. I'm going to put mine into this system product group anyway. I'll just give the product a name. Just call this one membership join, and then of course change anything else that we might want to. Maybe the product type and the product sort need to be changed depending on what product you've copied, and of course how your product types and sorts are configured in your database. By the way, we don't need to worry about any store and any store/pricing settings, anything on this tab. We don't need to set anything on that tab for these proxy membership products. So that is really it. Just give it a name, whatever we'd like it to be named. Change anything that we do want to change if we do want to change anything. And I will just go ahead and save that. It's been added to our product list. I can just go ahead and select that, and it is now assigned as our membership join product. Now, we could use the same product for all three membership products, but that is not advised because it could lead to some unclear reporting, or it certainly would lead to some unclear reporting. The good thing is though that we can simply copy that join product to create the others. So let me just do that real quick. Cool, there we go, simple as that. And if you're wondering what these will track on and report exactly, that'll become clear as we continue through this lesson. And at the end, we'll actually look at a couple of reports that will show what's been paid towards a couple of these products. Cool, but that is going to be it for the global settings that we need to take care of. So just click OK to save those changes. There are a couple membership related settings at the venue level. First is going to be on the main tab in this miscellaneous section. It is going to be our membership group. Now, as I explain this, it might occur to you that you need to revise your account list a little bit and how your account groups are configured and set up within your account list. But that's totally up to your organization and obviously depends on how your account list is already structured and what this could mean for it. But this membership group here is going to define the top account group that all other membership groups and members in the venue must belong to in order for the accounts to be eligible to join and renew memberships. If an account does not belong either directly to the account group that's designated here as the membership group or to a child group of whichever account group is designated as the membership group, that's okay. They can be moved to a membership group when an account joins a membership, and you'll see how that can happen later. But the bottom line is whichever account group is set here is the top account group that all other membership groups and members need to belong to. In our example, I'll say that all external accounts can be members, so I'll set that as the membership group in this venue. The other setting here at the venue level is right below this, our membership tax. This simply determines whether membership products are taxed or not in the venue, so either GST free or GST. But that's it for the venue settings. Of course, if you're in a multi-venue, these can be set per venue if needed. And the last system-wide consideration, you can probably guess, there always seems to be a trend here, thinking about who is going to be able to admin members and memberships. We of course have our operator privileges. And for membership privileges, they are going to be on the maintenance tab in the accounts and membership section. Now, since members are accounts, as I've mentioned a couple times now, the account related operator flags such as view, edit, and create also apply to the accounts that will be members. But there are a few privileges that are specific to members that also permit an operator to join, renew, and administrate members. Now, this administrate flag does come into play if a membership or renewal is set up to require it. More on that in a little bit. So this administrate members flag has some additional powers beyond just being able to join and renew members. And we do also have a setting back on the general tab called back office membership only here. I think we may have gone over this way back at the beginning of the course. This actually predates the compact mode, which you might remember hopefully you remember the concept of that. So if this back office membership only flag is on for an operator, they will only be allowed to access the membership menu in back office and nothing else at all. So hence the name membership only. Speaking of which, if I just close out of that, we will take a look at our membership menu. Now just keep in mind, of course, that those setups that we just ran through will need to be taken care of, and obviously the operator that you're logged in as will need to have the ability to access the membership menu. But if so, it will be down here, a bit lower down in the menu, in the sidebar over here. And from it, we will be able to get to the member list, which you'll see is similar to our account list, the membership list or the memberships list, membership add-ons, renewals or renewals list and how those are set up, scheduled billing report, scheduled billing setup, and the billing report. Again, we won't be able to get through all of these membership components today, but we do have you covered in my BPOS for the rest. And by the way, members can also be accessed via the regular account list in the maintenance menu. But the member list, if we go back to that and we open the member list, is going to only pull the account group or groups that have been set up as the membership groups. So it's a filtered down version of the account list, and we're only seeing groups and accounts that could be members by virtue of that venue level setting that I just set a couple minutes ago, which is why here we are only seeing this portion of the account list from this database with the external account group and its child groups, because I had set the external account group as the membership group for this venue. Now, if I turn on the sub members so we can see them, or in this case, just our one account, who by the way isn't actually technically a member yet. Yes, they're in the member list, but they haven't joined a membership just yet. We haven't created any that they can join. But anyway, if I open this account, the most notable difference from a maintenance perspective between normal accounts and accounts that are in the member list is that members will have this membership tab available, whereas it's grayed out for non-members. So this tab is where we can view some key membership and renewal data for the member, and we can also make membership and renewal payments as an alternative to doing so from SmartPOS. We will get into that later though. And this tab will make more sense once we go through membership and renewal setup, so we will come back to this a bit later and explain everything here, but just wanted to point it out for now that while we were looking at the membership menu and the member list, but if I close this, don't get the member list confused with the memberships list. This is where we keep and maintain the memberships themselves, which is obviously going to be empty for now. And nothing new here really, just options to add, edit, and delete. And once we have memberships created, they will be listed below. If we go ahead and add a new membership, you can see that there isn't much to these at all, to the setups for memberships. Most of the settings will be within the renewals setups, which we'll get to next. But we can think of the memberships just as sort of shells, because we can't sell or do anything with the membership by itself. These need to be assigned to a renewal setup in order to be sold to a member. But it is important to note that it's not a one-to-one relationship where each membership can only have one renewal. While each renewal can only be assigned or linked to one membership, which we'll see momentarily, each membership that we create can be assigned to multiple renewals. And again, memberships could be set up for just about anything that an organization could want to sell memberships for, which means that we can also set up multiple similar membership types, even if the venue only really offers one thing. So for example, let's say it's something as simple as a venue requiring membership for entry into a certain members-only area of the venue. Here, we could then set up a monthly membership, an annual membership, a lifetime membership, etc. Or we could just set up one membership in a scenario like that, and then multiple renewals for it that could all be for those different membership periods. Now, as with many things in BPOS, there's no right or wrong way, just different ways that we could accomplish the same thing. What we'll be doing in an effort to keep things a bit simplified is just creating a couple different memberships to give you an idea of what they could be for, and then a couple different renewals for one of those memberships. So let's do it. As we can see, like I said, the membership setup itself is plain and simple here. I will give this one a name. Just go with Sports Bar VIP, and we can add a description here that's optional. Here we go. Membership grants access to the VIP Sports Bar during events, in case anyone needs to know what this membership is for exactly. There are a couple important things to point out here. Now, first, our allowed venue is obviously only applicable for multi-venues, so I've only got our one venue here to select. But whichever one is selected, if it isn't set to all venues, any member that joins this membership will have that set as their allowed venue. So if this were a multi-venue system here, and I set this to no hats, no stars, any account that joins this Sports Bar VIP membership would have their allowed venue for that member changed to that. But I'll just go ahead and leave that as all venues. Now also, when an account group is set for a membership, anytime that a member joins this membership, the member will be moved into that account group if it isn't there already, or it could just be left as do not change and the accounts won't be moved at all. The use case for setting this for a membership is an instance where the account groups have some correlation to the memberships, and so when an account joins a membership, we want them to be placed into that corresponding account group. Which, if you remember back to the accounts lesson, that could mean that they have some special pricing policy or other settings that can be adopted from the account group. So for ours here, I'll say that they'll be placed into the Tier 1A account group. Now just keep in mind when you're setting these that it will have to be an account group that accounts can be placed into, meaning it will have to be a group that is one of the lower branches in the account list. If we set it to go to something like one of the higher groups that can't actually have accounts placed into it, it's just not going to work. So we do need to select one of the lowest branches from the account group. Like I said, in our case, I'll just set it to Tier 1A. And the next drop down is going to be our default renewal. This one might make more sense once we create some renewals, but as I said earlier, this membership will be able to be assigned to multiple renewals. In other words, different options for how an account could belong to this membership. So what we can do with this after we have some renewals set up is we can use it to designate a renewal that will be used by default when this membership is sold. But of course, at the moment, we don't have any, so it's just going to be set as none by default there. Also, if a membership has this requires admin privilege flag turned on, an operator will need that administrate memberships privilege flag, which we saw a few minutes ago at the operator level. They'll need that enabled in order to access or sell this membership. So that might be something that would be in place for, higher end or maybe some long-term memberships or something like that. but we will just leave this simple. So again, I'll leave it as all venues. Again, we only have the one here, of course. No need to change, or I will have the account group change to Tier 1A. And yeah, I'll just go ahead and save that. You can see that from the membership list here, we can see some important information about it, including the member count, so how many members belong to that membership. But I'll just create another membership type here for our outdoor summer concert series. Here at No Hats, No Stars, we sell the entire summer series as a membership rather than sell tickets for each individual concert. But yeah, maybe the members receive bonus points and vouchers when they join and renew this membership, and you'll see how that can be done within the renewal setup. Cool, so speaking of renewal setups, let's check those out now. This is where all the magic sort of happens, and we have a bulk of the configurations for our memberships and renewals. Before we get into one, I just want to point out that, yet again, the list here is a report as well, which we can filter to a specific membership, and we can see quite a bit of data within the report here too, pertaining to the membership and fees and so on and so forth. Now, if I go ahead and add a new renewal, we can see, as I said, a bulk of the configurations regarding memberships are completed here. So how we can link a renewal to a membership is using this membership dropdown at the top. Again, this is not a one-to-one, so we could set this renewal to the sports bar VIP membership. We could create multiple renewals that can also be linked to that same membership. So we might create one here that renews monthly, but maybe another that renews every 6 months, maybe one that renews once per quarter, once per year. Just depends on whatever we decide that we'd like to offer in terms of options for someone to join and renew that membership. Also, because each membership can have multiple renewal types, that means that we can cater for all different types of things like joining and renewal specials, which we'll get to momentarily. But for example, though, we might have just a basic monthly membership that renews once a month. But then we might create another very similar renewal type to run as a special, which offers maybe no joining fee or maybe a reduced renewal fee. And we have maybe that going during a promotional period where someone can join and pay a reduced fee, or renew during a promotional period and pay a reduced fee, and things like that. Anyway, there's quite a bit of setup options here, as you can see. So we will move through this rather quickly, though. You might have noticed as I've been speaking that a lot of the settings within this joining, renewals, and early renewal section are repeats of one another, just different settings, and I'll explain why that is in a bit. But we'll just start from the top and we'll work our way down. So each renewal should, of course, have a name, and then a description is optional. So let's do this one as just a monthly renewal. There we go, I'll make that a bit more descriptive there. And in that case, we probably don't need a description, but the name will appear on screen when we're selling and renewing a membership, so it should be specific yet somewhat concise. The description could have a bit more substance if need be, but I think that gets the point across for that. We can also opt for a renewal to require admin privilege. So as with memberships, that means that the renewal can only be used by operators that have that administrate members flag turned on. Now moving down to our renewal start and end dates. These are somewhat similar to the concept of the start and expiration dates, or the start and expiration types that we saw recently with vouchers. So these dates are simply setting boundaries for when this renewal can actually be sold. One example could be that we've got a joining promotion, which is only available for a limited time. So if we were to create a separate renewal with 0 joining fee and run it as a special, we could say it's only available for this weekend or something like that, and we could set the dates to suit that. So outside of whichever dates are set here, the renewal cannot be used or sold at all. For hours, for this one, I will just set the start date as today, and I won't set an end date. So there will be, it will not have a restriction on when this renewal can be used going forward. Obviously, if someone can figure out a way to go back in time, they won't be able to renew this prior to today's date. But then we move down to our renewal method. Now, this is relatively straightforward. It's going to determine how each renewal period is going to be calculated or determined. So as I tab down through these, is it going to be a certain number of days between renewals, weeks, months, years? Hours are even possible if we need to sell memberships for a very short period of time. We can even set it to an exact date if we want to make the membership only available for the day that it is sold. Or we can go, if I go down to perpetual, in which case it will never need to be renewed again. And then we have an option for today only also. So the fields just below the renewal method you can see are dynamic, and they change there to correspond with whichever renewal method is selected. For example, if I go to months, we can then set the actual number of months between each renewal, and we can also set the maximum allowed. Now the maximum allowed means the number of times that a member can renew this renewal. So for example, if this is one that had some special renewal pricing, we might say that it can only be renewed a maximum of 4 times or something before a member needs to choose a different renewal type. But for this example, I will just leave it with renewal months, and I'll set it to 1. I will not set a maximum allowed for this. Just keep in mind that not all renewal types or renewal methods will have a renewal period to set, and the ones that do will correspond to that renewal method. So for example, if number of weeks were selected, then we need to set the renewal weeks instead of months, so on and so forth. And for the exact date and today only and perpetual, there are certain things that do not need to be set. Then also, depending on the renewal method that is selected, we may or may not have these days until expired and the expiration time of day. What we're doing with the days until expired is we're stipulating the number of days after the next renewal begins that the membership will actually expire, which we could leave as 0 for it to never expire. We could set it to 1, meaning that it'll expire the next day, or we could set it to something longer. So for example, we might want to give members some extra time to come in and renew before their membership really does expire, so they could reach their renewal period, meaning that they do need to renew, but their membership won't technically be expired yet. So if we want to do something like that, we could set it to a higher number of days, maybe something like 15 days, and say that once they hit their renewal date, they might actually have 15 days until the membership does fully expire. Then for the expiration time of day, that is going to be the exact time on the expiration day that the membership will officially be expired. Now it's going to be set to the venue's start time of day by default, but that can be changed if we'd like to change that. Cool. Then moving down to this total section, this is going to show us some stats and data about the renewal, once the renewal is being used anyway. And by the way, we can ignore this pro rata date here and this pro rata payments flag over here. I'll actually need to turn that off. Those are going to make things a bit more confusing for this lesson than we need to get involved with. But just know that if the pro rata payments flag is turned on, which it will be by default, so we need to turn that off, a pro rata date will then need to be set, otherwise the renewal will not be able to be saved. And also the renewal method, if those are in place, needs to be set for an exact date. But anyway, we will, like I said, we can ignore those so we don't get too bogged down with some fringe case scenarios here, but we will move over to the right side of the window where, again, we have our 3 separate clusters of settings: joining, renewals, and early renewal, which we can see, like I said earlier, have some very similar options within them. So the joining section, this is going to apply to the actual act of simply doing just that, joining a membership using this renewal, whereas the renewals section of settings apply to subsequent renewal periods. And the early renewal section, the settings here, can be used to incentivize members to renew a membership early by offering something like a reduced fee or awarding something. You can see that we can award a number of things here. So first and foremost, each one of these can be configured with a fee. We've got a joining fee, a renewal fee, and an early renewal fee. So we might set it so that when someone joins this sports bar VIP membership using this renewal, that the join fee is going to be $50. and each normal renewal for this is going to incur a $20 fee. Optionally, we can enable one of these prompt at till flags, in which case the operator will have the ability to change the fee at the till. Maybe there would only be certain renewals that we would give liberties for operators to do so, and in those cases we probably would also require admin privileges for those. But anyway, also notice that we can opt for a renewal fee to be included when the joining fee is paid with this flag here. Joining fee includes renewal. What that means is that when a member joins the membership, they will only pay one fee to cover the joining and their first renewal. Otherwise, when they join, they will need to pay both the joining fee and the first renewal fee. But for this example, I will leave that off, and when we check out a demo in a little bit, we will see that the member will need to pay $70 total, $50 for the join fee, and $20 for their first renewal. Then aside from the fees that are taken from members, each section also has the ability to give to members. So we've got options to award quite a few things when a member is either initially joining a membership, renewing, or renewing early. These range from awarding a voucher to the member's account, awarding points, awarding account credit, or increasing the account's discount limit. So some similar options here to the prize types that we saw in the last lesson. So these can all be used to incentivize joining and renewals, but especially for early renewals where there might be a reduced fee or some increased awards and things like that. I'm sure you can think of plenty of use cases for implementing these settings in your venue. Now I should mention what constitutes an early renewal is renewing the membership prior to it being up for renewal or expiring, and prior to whichever date is set here as the date early stops. So of course that can be changed over time, the date early stops, if there's a special or a promotion that's being offered for a limited time every so often. So we might say to our members, hurry in before the end of June and secure your early membership renewal for a reduced rate and pick up a voucher and some award points too, or something like that. But for this example, it's going to just be our standard monthly renewal. I might just set the early renewal fee to $20 also, same as the normal one, and no need to set a date early stops for that then. So I will just go ahead and save that, and we can see that has been added to our renewal list. So what I'll do now is I will stop the recording. I'll create a few more renewals, maybe 2 more for the monthly for the sports bar VIP membership, and I'll create another membership and maybe one renewal for that. And I'll be back in a second and we'll run through all of those settings. Alright, so that is exactly what I've done here. Now, actually, when I mentioned before I stopped the recording that I was going to create a second membership, I forgot that I had already done that. But yeah, let's take a look at our next renewal here. The first one, our promo sports bar VIP renewal. So first, notice that I've added a bit of description here in case anyone is unsure of what this is for. I've also set it to require admin privilege. There is no renewal start date, so we can begin using it straight away for our demo, but in the real world, you might create this ahead of time and set a start date for some date in the future. I have set an end date, so this renewal can only be sold currently until the end of this week, really trying to entice some folks to come in and join. Don't forget, we can always change those dates in the future if we decide to run this promo or something like it again. Still just the 1 month, the one renewal month though, and I have set the max allowed to 1, so members will not be able to use this promotional renewal more than once. And then it does expire a couple days after it's up for renewal. So after that 1 month, the member will need to come and renew very shortly, of course, using another renewal since this one is maxed at 1. Now the promotion here is also going to be evident in the joining section. We've got no joining fee, and in the renewal section, we've got no renewal fee. So they won't pay anything to join the membership or for their first month. But since this does have a maximum allowed of 1, and they'll need to renew with another option going forward, only their first month will be free. And we're going to award them here with a voucher and some award points, or some points too. So pretty good promo here to get some people in the doors and signed up to our sports bar VIP membership. Then after their first month is up and they need to renew, they could renew using either our normal monthly renewal, or they could renew using this annual renewal that I created. So this one does not have a renewal start date, but it does not have an end date either. So no rush for this one. It's not time based at all, so we can keep it active until we decide otherwise. Now for the renewal method for this time around, we've gone, of course, this is an annual renewal, so we've got it for years and we've got it set to 1. We are a bit more generous with the expiration here. Once the renewal period hits in a year's time, members will have an additional 30 days until their membership fully expires. For the join fee, we've gone with $40. No awards here, and it does not include the renewal fee either. Now, when compared to the normal monthly renewal, though, there is a savings on both the join fee and the renewal fees, which this is set for $200 for the entire year. Also, though, if a member renews early, at least before the end of the year, we've got the date early stop set to 31st of December, they will only pay $150 for their annual membership renewal. So if someone joins this membership using our promotional renewal and then renews early using this one, they will not pay a joining fee at all, because that's how the promotional renewal is configured. They'll get their first month for free because that's how that's configured, and then they will only pay $150 for another year of membership, provided that they do renew early. So we are just giving out deals left and right here at No Hats, No Stars. Cool, then last up, I have made a renewal for our other membership that we created earlier, but only one for it, so it will have to be used when that membership is sold, and you'll see what I mean by that when we get into some demos. But taking a look at this, we've got the end date for it set to February 25th of next year, since summer ends at the end of February here in Australia, of course, and that is the date of our final concert in the concert series. Wouldn't be right to sell the membership after that date now, would it? Now, I should mention, internally here at No Hats, No Stars, we know that this membership is just a one-off thing, and if we do it again in the next year, maybe we'll create a new renewal and possibly a new membership as well. So the rest of the configuration here is just one way to set up something like this, but I've gone with one renewal year. Max allowed is 1. It's mostly just to prevent it from being sold to the same member more than once. We've got no days until expired, meaning it'll never expire, but again, we know internally that this membership can't be used for anything after the events are over, so that doesn't really matter. And then the joining fee, which does include the renewal fee, since there isn't really anything to renew, is going to cost $250 total, but they will also be awarded with a bunch of things here. So that's that. Those are our memberships and renewals that we've got here at No Hats, No Stars, but these are only a handful of use cases of the thousands that are possible. And by the way, this is only one way to sell something like admittance to an event in BPOS, and probably not the best way to do it either, but I just wanted to use it as an example for setting up a different type of membership and renewal. We could substitute just about anything in here in place of outdoor summer concert series, but hopefully you get the idea there of some different options that we've got. But I digress. We are going to go through some demos now, but before we do get into SmartPOS, I just want to quickly show you how we can sell memberships to a member right from the member list. If we go back to that, right from the member list in back office, and I'll also have to quickly show you the till function that is used for membership payments from SmartPOS. But before we get to that, from the member list here, if I open the record for our one and only account here and head to the membership tab, again, we will have this membership payment option here, which if I click it, we can see we'll be prompted to add a membership for BEPOS since they are not currently a member. However, I am going to cancel this for now. We will use this account for a SmartPOS demo later. One of the other things I wanted to show you is what happens when we add a new member to the member list. So I'll just keep it simple. I've just added a name and then I've gone to save that here. In this workflow, I'll then be prompted to add a membership. But we don't need to do that. So if I click cancel, the member is still going to be added to the list and saved, just without belonging to a membership just yet. So neither of these accounts, even though they're in our member list, actually have memberships yet. So we'll still be able to go in and add a membership for them later, either from back office or from SmartPause. In fact, for this particular member account, we'll use them for a SmartPause demo too. However, if I add another member again, this time I will select to add a membership so we can see the workflows for this from back office, which will be very similar to what we'll see from SmartPause in a bit. So since we have the two memberships that were created, we'll be presented with a window to select one of them. What I might do for this one to keep it simple is just select our Sports Bar VIP membership. But then since that membership does have multiple renewals that it's linked to, we'll need to select one for the member to join this membership. Now from this window, we can see the name of each renewal, the total fee that the member will have to pay right now, and the renewal date, which is going to be based on the renewal method and those settings from the setup. So that's the date that the membership will next need to be renewed. It's not the same as its expiration date. So that is why we do have those separate settings there. Also notice that for the annual renewal, the one that does have the early renewal offered at a reduced price, if a member were to join now using that, they'll also be able to take advantage of that early renewal pricing, and they'll pay again $40 for the join fee plus just the $150 for the early renewal for the year. So if you need a reminder of how that was set up, you can pause the video here, jump back to that point in the recording. You can see how that was set up there. But yeah, they'll be able to take advantage of that early renewal. Now, one thing I should point out, speaking of that, is that even if a member joins a renewal, or joins a membership, I should say, using one renewal type, they will be able to change that renewal type if they'd like to. In fact, in the case of our promotional renewal here, they will need to change to a different renewal once that promotional period expires. So if someone joined this right now, we can see that the renewal date is going to be in a month's time on the 8th of July. And because that's maxed out at 1, they will then need to select a different renewal to keep their membership going. So there's all sorts of fringe case scenarios that we could get into with joining, renewing, canceling, joining other renewals, etc. But unfortunately, we don't have time for all of them in this lesson. Sticking to the basics, we'll have to do it for today. So keeping things simple for this back office demo, we'll just go with our normal monthly Sports Bar VIP membership here. We will then be prompted to confirm that in case we did select the wrong one, but from here we can also see the details of the renewal date and the cost. Let's continue, and I will just quickly fake pay for this. We'll be prompted to take the member's photo since we've just added them to the database. I won't do that. And there we go. So from the membership tab here, we can see some important info now. Actually, the fees paid are not showing just yet, but if I save that and reopen it, there we go. We can see all of their fees that have been paid, and those will continue to accrue over time as they pay into their renewal fees, or if they join different memberships, those will accrue there. And down here below that, we can see all of their important dates. So when they joined the last renewal, which in this case is the same date, obviously, we can see the next renewal date, which in most cases is going to be the same as the paid to date, and the expiration date. So again, that's going to be based on their renewal configuration, which, by the way, we can see their membership and renewal types up here too, and we can even view and edit the renewal type right from here if we would like to. So just to confirm, the renewal date is going to be 1 month from today. That's what we've got, the renewal month, or the renewal method, and the quantity set to there. And then the expiration date is going to be 15 days later, because that's how we have that configured there. Cool, so a couple of quick demos there from back office. I will just close this and close this. We'll jump over to our till function maps. There is only one till function for membership payments, and we don't need to use it. You'll see what I mean when we get into SmartPOS. But if I go to our account panel, I've got this membership payment till function added here. From the item and sub-item fields, you can see that we can optionally configure one of these till function buttons to be for a specific membership and or renewal, but I will just leave those I'll just leave those fields alone, and we'll then be prompted at the till to select those. Or if the membership already, or if the member, I should say, already belongs to a membership, we won't be prompted to select one of those at all. You'll see what options we have in that case. So speaking of which, let's head to SmartPOS now, and we will run through some workflows there. All right, now I should, before we get into these demos, I should preface by again stating that there are numerous different workflows and examples that we could run through depending on all sorts of things, if the account is already in a member group or not, if they already belong to a membership or not, even if they are in a member group but they don't belong to a membership yet, if they belong to one membership but want to cancel and renew to a different one, etc., etc. There's all sorts of different scenarios that are out there. But in trying to keep this lesson to a somewhat reasonable length, even though we are running pretty long already, we'll just run through a handful of the more likely scenarios and workflows. So one possible scenario is that we are creating a new account from SmartPOS altogether. So if we head to the account panel, we've got the option here to create a new account from SmartPOS here. I will just go with the auto-generated account number here, and I will just add a last name, speed things up a bit here, and save this account. Now with that account active, we can then go ahead and use the membership payments function to join them to one. Of course, we're going to be prompted with a message that they're not currently a member. This is very similar to what we saw in back office, as I said it would be. And looks similar here too, so let's just join them to our sports bar VIP membership also. Now again, notice before choosing the renewal that we can preview the fee and the initial renewal dates here. For this one, we'll also go with the normal monthly renewal and continue. Then we can see both the joining fee and the renewal fee are going to be shown in the transaction window or the sales journal or whatever we want to call this, along with our balance due. So in this case, the joining fee includes renewal flag is off for this renewal, which is why both the joining fee and the renewal fee, or the first renewal, need to be paid. Now, if the joining fee includes renewal flag were on, they would only need to pay the joining fee now and would not need to pay the renewal fee until their first renewal date. But let me just close this out for our new account here. And they are now a member belonging to our sports bar VIP membership with our standard monthly renewal. And if I go ahead and add that account again, which by the way, if I cancel that, by the way, if I go to add them again, we can see that they have been added to the tier 1A account group per that membership setup, because we had set that as the account group for that membership. But then if we go to their account details here, once they're attached, we've got all this important membership and renewal data, just like we can see from the membership tab in back office. From the account details window here, we also have this membership function available. So this is why I mentioned that we do not need to have the till function added to the function map anyway, because we can access membership functions from the account details window. In this case, with the account already belonging to a membership, we will be able to renew their existing one, change their membership, cancel it, or add some membership add-ons. Again, some in-depth options here that we'll avoid for today. So if I cancel out of all of this, we'll run through another quick workflow. For this one, I will select our favorite account holder from the list. And again, because they are not yet a member, we'll need to add them to one. For BE here, let's also do our sports bar VIP membership, but instead of the normal monthly renewal, let's give them our promotional renewal. If you remember, this one has no join fee and no renewal fee, but it is capped at 1 renewal. So the total fee is now going to be $0. And membership added successfully. Now you might recall also from that renewal that it had some awards with it. It had a voucher and some points that are awarded to the member, again, to entice them to join during our promotional period here. So we can see that right now BE has 5,324 points, and cool, as I suspected, we also have a prize promo that's still live and set up from the last time, so they should have an additional 6,000 points total now, the 1,000 points from this and 5,000 from their membership awards. So if we look at if we add them again, they should now have, 11,324. They've got their 6,000 additional points there. And if we go ahead and look at their voucher list, we will be also be able to see the voucher that was just awarded to them with that renewal too. Now, if we were to try to renew them to that same renewal again, either through the account details or using the membership payment function, by the way, notice how similar this workflow looks again. If I select renew and try to renew using that same renewal, we will not be able to because they've already maxed out the allowed renewals for it. But if we go back and try that again, and this time we'll renew using our annual renewal, because they're already a member, they don't need to pay any join fee, and because they are renewing early, they'll be able to pay the reduced fee for that, just $150. Cool, so let me just pay for that for them. Got that demo taken care of. Last up, for the other account that we added from back office but did not add a membership for, if I remember correctly, that would have been test 11. There we go. So let's go ahead and add our other membership for them, the Concert Series 1. Now for this, since there's only one renewal for it, we will not be prompted to select a renewal. It's just going to be used automatically. So we're taken right to this prompt to continue. Remember, this one is for the year technically due to how it's configured, but we know internally that it's just for those events, and incurs the $250 join fee, which includes the renewal fee. Again, this is just one way to set up something like that. But from the customer perspective at the till, they are just paying the one fee for everything, 0 renewal fee, since it's set up as included with the join fee. Cool, let me just close out that transaction. Well, now just to reiterate, what we've seen here in this lesson are just a fraction of the possible workflows and scenarios that could be encountered when using the membership feature set. It's going to depend on how memberships and renewals are configured and a number of other things that we didn't even see in this lesson. But again, just sticking to the basics today, we also didn't see anything related to what happens when a membership is up for renewal or even fully expires. But those workflows are pretty self-explanatory. There will be prompts in SmartPOS informing the operator that the account needs to renew or needs to change their membership when the time comes in those scenarios. But the very last thing that I do want to show you before we wrap up is going to be some basic reporting related to what we've seen today. So let's jump back into back office real quick. Cool, first is going to be that from the member list, if we open an account record and we view their sales, we will be able to see their membership payment transactions, and we can see those in detail too. And for some broader financial reporting, if we check out the till balance report, display that, we will be able to see, if I scroll, really need to scroll down, they're going to be right here, our joining fees and our renewal fees. We'll be able to see what's been paid into those. So this is where configuring those membership products at the global level comes into play, so the system can report on these correctly. And if we were to look at the product summaries report and we scroll down to those where those products are, to their account or to their product group, and maybe in this case I'll go to the standard view, we will be able to see them reported here for each one, their quantities sold and their totals and so forth. Okay, well that will be a wrap on this lesson. Apologies for running long, and again we didn't get to about half of our membership feature set in total. but my BPOS does have you covered for the other higher level topics that we didn't see. As always, thanks for joining me, and see you next time.